Fantastic. So Natalie, tell us a little bit. We're here to discuss an issue that comes up very often in fiduciary. Being on the real estate side, I often get handed the keys to a house and there's a car or a truck or a motorbike or something in the garage. Nobody knows where the title is. And we're like, what are we going to do? Everybody wants to give it to charity. That's a nice thing to do, but charities don't want to take a vehicle that doesn't have a title because they don't really want to be involved in laundering what might be a stolen vehicle. So what are we to do? What are we to do, Natalie?
So there's actually a couple of options, and I hear this all the time. The house is up for sale. It's in escrow. The car needs to be out of the driveway. We don't have keys, registration, or title. So what this company can do for you? We have an in-house DMV. So if there's no title, I can make you one. It's a $65 charge, and whatever back registration is owed on the vehicle, obviously it's case by case, is due. I deduct that from my final offer, and I can handle all of that for you in-house. I can actually run the registration. So if you ever want to bounce off a VIN number and see where you stand, I can run the registration off of license plates that are California, not handicap, not out of state, and not personal, or the VIN number located on the vehicle in the front of the windshield where the glass meets the dash. If it's like a sense of urgency, like the car has got to go right now, I can dehorse the house. Basically, we call it dehorsing in the car business. I can get the car out of the way, bring it to another location, assess it, buy it, do whatever we need to do there. I have my own tow trucks. But paperwork wise, if you do not have a title, I can make one. If there is a lien holder on the registration and still a lost title, I can do the necessary requirements to get a notarized lien satisfied from whatever financial institution is on there. Sometimes it's a human being that's the lien holder, maybe a mom or a dad or a brother or sister. That's simple. You would just need to go to your local FedEx or Kinko's. I can provide the application for duplicate title. I can send it over to you. You can go to FedEx or Kinko's. I don't even think Kinko's exists anymore, but you can go over there and get it notarized, and that'll do just as well to make an application for dupe. Payoffs.
That's only if you're coming in, because 9 times out of 10, I'm always in the situation where we don't know where the title is. So it's a matter of, and so the only ones that are a little bit more complicated are when it's handicapped or personal plates. You can still do those, right?
I would just the VIN number in order to source it. A lot of people just send me a picture of a car and all I'm looking at is a license plate. I can't run it and get your information without the VIN if it's handicap, out of state, or personalized. But if it's a regular standard California issued plate, I can run that for you if that's all you have. Sometimes people don't have access to the cars themselves. But as far as paperwork goes, we're a done for you company. I take care of everything in-house. You need a lien satisfied, I'll call the bank and sit on the line for 4 hours and get it for you. I can make
the fun of that, the joy. That must be your favorite part of the job.
Yeah, I know every financial institution's elevator music. It's great. But if you get a chance, this is something different that I'm going to go to the PFAC up in San Francisco. Yeah, I'm going to be there, and I'm actually going to do like a 30-minute little speech. And I was going to drop this little knowledge on everybody there, but I'll give it to you guys here. If you do get an estate or get somebody's belongings or, whatever it is, and you have a chance to non-op the vehicle, which is put it on a P&O, I would advise to do it like ASAP. Putting it on a non-op just relinquishes all of the back registration, and it kind of takes you guys off the hook for the back reg that will be due upon making a new title or a title transfer. And it's really simple. You can do it online. So you can just go onto your california.gov DMV, type in the necessary fields, like they want the VIN number, the mileage, so forth. And you can place that vehicle on a non-op. And that way you're exempting it from all the back registration from the previous years, which just means more money for the estate or for the client when we sell the car. So
that's something where you can just go in, and I see that when we have to renew our registration every year, there's a little box you can check that says P&O, which is not property not operable. Is that what it stands for? Or
Means post non-operational, which just means that the car is not that it's broken and non-running. It's just that you're not driving it on the road, so you don't need to insure or register it. It just exempts you from further registration as well. Maybe you're stuck with the car and you can't move it because there's some other legalities that are going on with family members disputing they want the vehicle. Place it on a non-op so you don't get bit in the butt later on with the fees, and you don't have to pay them as you're untangling whatever mess you guys have.
Perfect. So, and then we can dig out that link and send it to everybody who's here today, just so they'll have that DMV link and send. So the other scenario, so then you purchase the vehicle, so the estate will receive money for the vehicle, correct?
Yes, we do give you money. A lot of people, like you're talking about the charities, a lot of the charities in that government DMV program where they were issuing $1,500 to get a gross polluter off the road, that's changed since COVID. During the pandemic, they completely eliminated it for obvious reasons. They didn't want people gathering. But now they implement, it's their flash in the pan is $1,500, but it is minus the transportation, the cost of checking it into an auto auction and whatever fees that are allotted. And then you get kicked back with whatever check is there. To my understanding, the DMV puts their vehicles in an auto auction that's for the public. So the values are not high. You're not getting full dollar for that car. And I know, as I've been speaking with everybody, their job is to make sure that they are getting, Kelly Blue Book value. They're getting the absolute most money for the estate. To run it by me, I sell a little bit differently because we're doing it to franchise dealers, mom and pops, so on and so forth. I do work with a series of dismantlers as well that can provide a junk slip for you guys, which can also exonerate you from the back registration. Those are for obviously those old like 1922 Chryslers that are just completely have dead animals living in them the whole night.
Yeah, I've had a few of those. Yeah, I've dealt with a few of those.
But I mean, call me with them because I do have dismantlers located all over Northern and Southern California. I can have them move for you. So if you guys been cleared out or moved out of the way, I can definitely move cars around, get them over to the right places, whatever you guys need.
Perfect. So so you're going off of Kelly Blue Book. So in a lot of ways, somebody could, no title, no keys, no nothing, then they're nearly better getting you to sort everything out and then taking the cash that they get and donating that to the charity of choice, because they're probably going to be giving that charity more money in that.
Exactly. I do pay more. I pay top dollar for everything. I can extend a lot of my wholesale reconditioning costs to you for the value. So a key, you go to your local locksmith for a key on, I don't know, a 2020 Honda Civic, you're looking at $1,000. I can do it between 4 and 6. So I can extend the wholesale reconditioning cost to you guys instead of running around town and like fixing cracked windshields or whatever. I can take care of that for you. I factor that into my offer that I present you guys. So I'm kind of.
That's amazing. So, so in a nutshell, kind of, is there any other area, like what about if we end up with a boat or something else that's registered with the DMV? Can you deal with that?
Yes, I've done trailers. I've done Sea-Doos. I have not done a boat yet. I have done RVs. I've done like the little toy haulers. Haven't gotten a boat yet, but I mean, throw it at me. I'd love to.
All right.
Love a challenge.
Awesome. And then kind of in general, to like, what is the best way for somebody to be able to interact or connect with you? Where, somebody's taking over an estate, there's 1 or 2 cars that are sitting there, they're trying to figure stuff out. Like when and how should they engage with you?
24/7, you can reach me. I'm connected to all 5 of my cell phones. They're stuck to my face. Email me. Email me is the best way. I'm literally just going through my emails all day long. I'll provide you with my email address at the end, but just email me, VIN number, miles, a brief description, photos if you have them. Pictures are worth a million words. If you have photos, send them to me. I can get an idea of what we're dealing with. You have the keys. We don't have the keys. I don't know if rats are living in it or if you're taking a family of raccoons with it as well. Just tell me like as much as you can about the car and I will break it down. If you can't find mileage, I can run a Carfax and make an educated guess off the last mileage reported from an oil change. I'll help you guys figure it out. But whatever you can give me, VIN, miles, probably at the bare minimum, I can put it together and get you guys an offer.
Which is for the hard work of the fiduciary, making it easy and dropping the barriers to being able to get this properly sorted out is the key.
Yeah.
So we do have a question from somebody in the call. They're saying, in regards to a boat on the release of liability, is the date all you need for sign off? Because obviously there's no mileage. There probably is hours. Do you think hours is something that the DMV monitors on that?
When I do my release of liabilities, I typically don't put a mileage in there when I do the release of liabilities because it's accompanied by a bill of sale. But with a boat, I would actually ask my DMV that question. I could get back to you on that and email you back on that.
All right,
but
perfect. So we can follow up on that. So if anybody else has got any questions, please feel free to use the chat. So Natalie, is there kind of like that emailing you, and then can you, we'll give everybody your email address, but can you state your email just so everybody has it, and your web address?
Definitely. It's Natalie, which is NATALIE .Armenta, ARMENTA at carstub, CARSTUB, like boy.com. So Natalie at carstub.com. Just send me everything and anything. You'll probably get an email back from me at midnight, 7 a.m. Like, hey.
Yeah, and so anything else, like, is there any other scenario that you've come across that is something you can tell us about? I love that little bit of knowledge about just doing the P&O straight off the bat, because to get that correct, does that release any obligations to unpaid, like say that the registration hasn't been paid for, it's been in a garage and hasn't been paid for 4 or 5 years, I don't have to pay any of it?
If you place it onto a non-op. Now, if it's already been sitting for a long time and it's acquired a lot of back registration, they may require you to pay a third of it. If you'd explain to them the situation that somebody has passed, they do want a percentage. It's the government. They still want their money. They may still want a percentage, but the P&O is more for like, if you just got the account and it's a newer car and it's, somebody's passed away and the reg is coming, definitely throw it on that non-op. So then you can take your time on, getting an offer and getting it moved without having to be under like a metaphorical gun of a bill coming up, which is now I know that in the state of California, the DMV laws have changed now. They are now charging by the pound. So
no way, they charge by the weight now.
By the weight on a vehicle. So a lot of SUVs, I'm dealing with a client up in Davis who has 5 trucks that are past registration. And I told her, I was like, we better get moving on these now because they still fall into that little gray area where they're not going to start, charging by the pound on all of these big trucks. They're monsters, trucks, 1500, Denali's, Escalades, like they're huge vehicles. So the laws have now changed that they are charging by the pound on further registration.
Which will, on electric cars, that's going to get expensive too, because those batteries weigh a ton. So, yeah, interesting. So perfect. So any other scenario that we haven't covered that we should make people aware of before we wrap up?
I think the last thing I'm also dealing with a client is on payoffs. So I know a lot of it's like the older cars, like the beater that's been sitting in a foot tall grass forever. But I have come across some cars that have payoffs. So if you are dealing with somebody who has a payoff on their car, it's a brand new car, God forbid they died the next day after they bought it and there's a loan on it and it needs to be paid and it's under that person's name. When you're reaching out to that financial institution, in order to avoid a lot of steps that they put you through the ringer. If you're not on that account, nobody wants to talk to you, especially after the pandemic. I would really advise to try and see if your client has a login in order to get the paperwork through that or get the payoff through that via their login or through the automated system. If you get somebody on the line and you start explaining a story to them, the wall goes down and they will not give you a payoff. They will not give it to you. So if you're dealing with a client who has recently passed away on a newer car, I would try first to log in onto their app or their account to obtain their payoff information, or to do it automated before you actually speak to somebody and you get stuck in this huge cycle of like mailing. It's a mailing cycle. They don't do email or fax. It is a mailing cycle. So in order to get the necessary things that you need to provide to move on with the sale, you're dealing with the post office. So that's a little.
But will you, if I don't want to handle that, will you handle that?
do it. If you guys don't want to do it, I can definitely do it for you.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
can call you, do the automated way, get the payoff, get it over in writing. And then towards the end of it, when we go to pay the car off, then I kind of just slam them with the death certificate and the bill of sale or the power of attorney or whatever we have, the trustee, probate, whatever it is. Once they have that with the check, they don't ask too many questions. They just move on and release the title. That's kind of a little loophole that I've kind of figured out.
Aha. Okay. So right at the point where they're just like, it's not worth us asking any more questions. Let's just get it. Let's just get it over and done with. And, yeah, I love it. All right. So it's kind of pretty simple in regards to the process. So unless other people, if anybody, please, you can go off mute if you want to ask a question, or feel free if you don't want to come off of mute, you can just put it in the chat and we will ask for you. But that's kind of it in a nutshell. In the is there your website as well? Is just carstub.com. So.
Yeah, well, I do advertise to we do have an internet department that advertises to the public where we buy from the private party market. But just to get into direct contact with me and not to get stuck in my call center, just send me the email and I can get right back to you. It's the fastest way to do it. And I just want to add into everything that I do is free. Everything, picking it up, towing it, doing the transportation, doing the transfer of ownership, all the paperwork filings, it's all free of charge. And it's all free, even if, the deal unwinds. Hey, a family member wants to take, I had a situation where I picked the car up, brought it all the way down from Northern California, got here to my office. Somehow the client was able to have a family member take the car away. I shipped it right to his front door. I don't love doing it, but if we have to do it, we will. And there's no charge to the client.
So that's awesome. Well, this is Natalie on a day that you're not feeling great. I appreciate you. I think it's a testament to the fact that you respond all the time whenever anybody reaches out. Like, that's just you're there to do that. And we have a couple of these a year, so we'll be in touch. And again, if you want to just, before we sign off, if you want to just give your email address one more time for everybody to write it down. And you can email us if you want us to send out any of this information too. So go ahead, Natalie.
It's Natalie, Natalie .Armenta, ARMENTA at carstub, CARSTUB.com.
Awesome. All right. Well, I really appreciate it. It's been a nice, great, fascinating, quick lunch and learn, and we'll be in touch. Natalie, thank you.
Like, looking forward to hearing from all of you guys. And we have a booth at the convention, so if you have any questions or anything you want to bounce off me, I'll definitely be there myself.
Yeah, we might be neighbors. Yeah, we might be neighbors. Cool. All right. We'll see you in San Francisco.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.